Hello guys, my name is Taras Makar, and today we are going to create this kind of animation. We are going to use Cinema4D 2025.2, so it's the latest version at this point. And in this version we can create this effect with particles that are connected, and also we can emit particles from different parts of our model by using UV vertex maps. And all other effects like these black stains and appearing of a model you can create in all the versions. But this particular one with connection and emitting from different parts are for 2025.2. So let's open our scene, and we will start by choosing a model. So I downloaded this model of a hand. You can go to Sketchfab, type zombie hand, and if I'm not mistaken, this was the hand that I choose to download. And here you can see that it doesn't have lots of polygons, and we are going to need much more polygons than are here. So in order to make it, you just download your model, make it a child of remesh. Type here something like density 1000 in order to create more polygons, and then press C and you will have the same model as I do. So the next thing, let's create particles. I will go to my UI with particles, and all the things you can find here in Simulate, emitters, modifiers, etc. or everything that we are going to use. So let's start with mesh emitter, and let's see what we got now. Also, I made my scene 450 frames long. And we can see particles emitting. And now let's go to mesh emitter, go to properties and change speed to something like 15. Also, we are not going to need the particles for the whole time. Let's change lifetime from limited to something like maybe 60 frames. Yeah, that's much better. Now let's make them emit only from certain parts of our model. In order to do that, we are going to need to create vertex map. So go to hand, other text, vertex map. Here you can choose fields. Let's delete freeze, we are not going to need it. And let's create shader field. Shader field. And in shader field, shade, choose noise. And let's increase here a global scale to something like 750. And let's increase contrast and decrease high clip. And let's add animation speed, something like 0.25. So now when you go to mesh emitter and go to emission, and here you can choose distribution. Let's choose vertex map, and let's rename this vertex map. Let's name it particles and drag it over here. It's pretty important to first name your vertex map, because if you will drag it over here and then you will rename it over here, it won't link correctly. So let's see what we have now. Let's maybe increase the number of particles to 10,000. And now, as you can see, where is red color, particles don't emit. They emit only from the spots with yellow color. So this is going to be like the basics of our animation, and let's tune it a little bit. For example, let's go over here and maybe let's make it 500, a little smaller. Let's add a little bit more contrast, and maybe let's change seed. So the next thing I want to do, I want to emit them, to start emitting from this point and then go down. So let's choose vertex map, go to fields, and let's create linear field. And it's in a different place right now. So let's select it, put everything to 0. Let's rotate it 90 degrees. And let's go to vertex map, and here we will choose subtract. So let's scale it down, and now as you can see, we can erase our vertex map using linear field. But we let's go to field and press here not +x but -x. In this case, we can add this yellow stains as we move our linear field. So let's animate it. At first, let's put it over here. Go to coordinates, position Y, and somewhere here, let's animate it till this point. That looks okay. Now let's see the result. Particles start emitting over here, and then they appear over here. Yep, that looks okay. Now let's add a little bit of variation to our particles. At first, let's create turbulence. Go to object, scale, let's put it to 25. So we have a little bit of variation over here. Now let's create gravity. And if we play it now, all particles will be falling down, and we need to change gravity from 981 to -981. And now all the particles are going to fly up. So let's go to fields, create spherical field, and in this case gravity will only work over here, but we can go to fields, remapping, and place invert. In this case, gravity won't work over here, and it would be decreasing outside like this small sphere. So now it looks like this. And now let's make particles a little bit slower. Let's create friction, and also let's add spherical field and also invert it. Maybe let's make it a little smaller. And in friction, let's increase our number to something like 250. Maybe even 500. So now particles move much slower. And now let's connect our particles with lines. So go to Asset Manager, and in the latest version 2025.2 you can find here at new capsules this capsule that's named Constellation. Yeah, Constellation. Choose Constellation, and here in point source let's drag our particle group, and now let's see what we got. And now this capsule will connect all the particles between each other, and as you can see, there are way too many lines now than we need. So let's tune it a little bit. First of all, let's decrease search distance to something like 25 centimeters. And another thing we can do, we can go to max connections and change it from 50 to something like 8. Let's see the result, and now it looks much better. Of course, you can tune it, maybe put here 20 centimeters. Yeah, now it's a little bit too many particles over here. So I guess 20 centimeters also would work. And the other thing, what I would change, now this constellation creates these points. I don't need them. Let's turn them off. And if we would look at our render view, we would see our particles. So let's leave it like that, but we are going to change the radius of our particles. Let's go to properties, radius, and let's put here 0.25. And in variation we also put 0.25. So now some particles would be a little bigger and some would be very small, and as for me it's much better look. So now let's go to my normal UI, and now let's create light. Let's go to DOM light, choose any DOM light you like. You can find it here in Asset Manager in HDRI maps, in HDRIs here, or you can download a lot of HDRIs from Polyheaven website. Now in new version, in order to turn off background in HDRI maps, you need to go to details, and here in camera we need to put it to 0. Now we can see our HDRI map, our background, but still it creates light. Let's put here exposure, increase it. Let's create background. Let's put it 90 degrees and move it back. So something like this. Let's create camera. And let's move it the way we want our shot to look. So this looks okay. Let's scale up our background and let's create material for background. Let's call it BG. Plane we can also call BG. For background, here choose white color and increase roughness to 1. Now let's create material for our hand. Let's call it hand, and let's create material for our particles. And we would put it on particle group and also on a constellation capsule. Let's make it black and turn off white in reflection, so it would be just black color. Now what we are going to do now, we are going to create this black stains on our hand. As you can see, particles emit from the place where is a black stain, and let's create this in our material. Let's open hand material. Let's create material blender. Let's copy this material, and now let's create vertex attribute node. So press C and create vertex attribute. And here drag our particle vertex map. So connect it to material color, and this connects to blend color. So let's make it white, and this let's make it black. So already you can see that there are some black parts over here. If we solo this node, you can see what we are getting from it. And if you want to add more contrast here, you can create ramp node, put it over here, and increase contrast in order so we will see these black parts much better. So yeah, that looks exactly how I wanted to. And now let's create this effect. If you will look at this animation, you can see that there is like a glossy cover on these black stains, and we are going to create it using volume builder and volume mesher. And we are also going to use vertex map with volume builder, but there is one thing: volume builder doesn't want to work with with live vertex maps, so we need to bake it first. So let's choose select hand, go to bake as alembic, and let's wait while it's baking. Now it is baked, and we can hide our hand, this original hand, and let's play animation, and you can see that we have this hand baked. We can play it backwards if we want it, and all animation is stored in this alembic file, and we are going to use it for our volume builder. So now let's create volume builder, go to object and drag here our hand alembic object, and now it created these voxels. Let's decrease voxel size to 1 centimeter, and we are going to make it appear only where vertex map appears. So in order to do that, unfortunately we can't drag vertex map over here directly, so we are going to create group field and put group field over here. And now let's go to group field and drag, go to field and drag over here vertex map. And now let's hide this hand, go to volume builder, and in group field creation space choose not box but object below. And now let's put our volume builder in volume measure, and now you can see that we have this geometry, and if we play our animation, you can see that geometry appears, and it appears exactly the same in that places where our vertex map becomes yellow, or where our texture becomes black. So now let's tune it a little bit. Go to volume builder, group field, and here let's put 0.1. Now let's add SDF smooth, so it would look much smoother. You can decrease voxel distance, and also let's add SDF dilate, put it below SDF smooth, and this SDF dilate, it can dilate your geometry. Here it stands for 5 centimeters, but you can choose it, for example, minus 0.5, and now you can see with it and without it, and we have much better result. Maybe even here. No, let's leave it like that. Maybe let's try 0.75, that looks okay. And yeah, so now let's go to volume measure and let's create new material. Let's name it measure, apply it to volume measure, and let's make it, let's increase transmission weight to 1, and let's put dispersion to 10, so we would have a little bit of dispersion on this glass. And let's choose volume, select volume measure, press Alt G, and now let's hold Shift and create displacer. Create displacer, go to shading, choose noise, and here you can decrease height to 1 centimeter, go to noise, and maybe let's choose over here, for example, Voronoi 2, and maybe let's decrease scale, and we would have a little bit deformed this and displaced this geometry. That looks much more interesting as for me. And animation speed we can put here 1. So now when it appears, you can see that it has these bumps, and yeah, for me it's much better. So the last thing we are going to need to do with this hand, if you look at our original animation, you can see that we don't see the whole model at first. It appears later in animation, and let's create the same effect over here. So let's go to our original hand, go to other text and create another vertex map. Let's rename it appear, Go to fields, let's delete freeze and create shader field. You don't need shader field. Let's create spherical field. Spherical field again. Let's zero here, everything's out, and move this shader field up, and let's make it much smaller. So what we are going, what we need so it would touch our hand, but it won't like cover lots of it, maybe like 3 fingers at the top. So let's move it somewhere over here, and so yeah, that way we would see better. Let's choose redshift camera over here, and now what we are going to need is that this yellow part would grow to the whole hand, and in order to do it we can create freeze. Let's create freeze, and here let's put grow, and let's see the animation. Of course, our volume builder slows everything down a little bit, so I will turn it off for a while. And now, as you can see, it grows super fast. So in order to change it, we need to animate these parameters. Let's put here 3 centimeters, and here let's put 15%. Let's create keyframes. Let's create keyframes and move it somewhere here. And at the beginning, let's put here 1 centimeter and 10%. So this grow effect would move much slower. Yeah, that looks much better. And now let's open material with our hand. Let's turn on our redshift, and let's copy these 2 nodes holding Control. And this ramp we would connect to opacity. And let's choose this vertex attribute and put over here our appear vertex map. And now you can see we see only the beginning of our model. So let's maybe change contrast. We can even add a little bit more black. And now our hand will appear slowly. But if we unsolo this part, so I can't see our particles anywhere. For some reason they disappeared. Pretty weird. Okay, I figured out what went wrong. I deleted over here our shader field. Let's create it again, put it over here, and let's add noise. Scale it 500 centimeters. Let's increase. So yeah, because I deleted shader field over here, it disappeared, and Mesh Emitter didn't know where to emit particles from. Yeah, but now everything should be good. Now we have a model that appears, but besides that we have that black parts that are covering, and from these parts are emitting our particles. And if we turn on our volume builder, you can even decrease here voxel size to 0.5, and you can see this glossy effect over the black stains, and we have almost the same animation that we wanted to create from the very beginning. Of course, you also have to animate the camera, add some depth of field, and play a little bit with tuning all the details in the animation, but overall that's the technique I was using for this animation. I hope that it was helpful and you like this tutorial. If yes, please press like button, comment on it. It helps with the channel. Thanks anyway, thank you for watching, and till the next videos.